So yesterday we were messing around with this Jeskai Emeria deck. We played one league with it. We went 3-2. It was a lot of fun. We played the Sahili, Feldar Guardian, Sun Titan combo. We're playing some red cards. And I went to work on the deck some more afterwards. And I ended up feeling like the deck would just be better if we were blue-white instead of Jeskai. And kind of increase the overall power level of the deck by cutting out the red cards, and you maybe add some consistency too, since it was tricky to find a density of red cards for Fury for sure. Not that that's the most important in a deck like this that can hardcast it, but obviously still somewhat important. I like this deck a lot. I was playing it last night. The big idea here is that you are just like you're a blue-white deck. You're a blue-white flicker deck that is trying to use Ephemerate and Brought Back kind of as your main flicker enablers, while Brought Back is simultaneously allowing you to both, scam, Solitudes, Mulldrifters, Subtlety into play, but also ramp you into the late game with Emeria the Skyruin. And I actually was able to get Emeria the Skyruin online more with this list than I have with any of the other versions of the past. I still think you only want to play 2 copies, but just in the late game, this is going to be reanimating your Mulldrifters, your Aether Channelers, your Solitudes, turn after turn after turn, and that's going to win you the game in the late game. Mulldrifter, I think, is really the glue that ties the deck together. It is absurdly good with Ephemerate and Brought Back. There was like a lot of turn 5s where I would just go like Mulldrifter, draw a fetch land or something, and then Brought Back the fetch land and the Mulldrifter. It was just like an obscene amount of value. The term scam has like really ceased to mean anything, but I feel like it still even technically meets the definition of like 8 cheat effects plus 8 elementals that have evoke. Although we actually have 9 here, the main, and then 4 more on the sideboard. Although Subtlety is not one that you're really going to brought back all that often. We are still supporting Leyline Binding with 2 Triomes. I'm not playing a just kind of off-color shock land because I think it's important to at least have this number of basics. I wanted to play 12 fetch lands. You could kind of fetch land for like a Temple Garden or something, but I decided not to because I just wanted to maximize the turn 2 double brought backs. I am playing an island so I can play through Blood Moon a bit easier, which is really relevant at the moment. Blood Moon is super common, and just one island does help you play through it pretty well. We have Sanctifier and en-Vec in the sideboard for Scam and Dredge, which is a card I don't usually like too much these days, but I think is good right now. This is finally a good temporary lockdown deck, so we're playing some lockdowns on the board. Wispmare's synergistic anti-enchantment card. This is a very interesting hand. I haven't quite decided. I feel like on the draw, I'm usually leading on... I guess on the draw, you have that first draw step information. I'm gonna click keep. And then the high upside play here is to play the Flooded Strand on turn 1. And I think I think I will be playing Flooded Strand on turn 1 no matter what. And then if I don't draw a fetch land next turn, if I draw a fetch land next turn, I'm thrilled, obviously. I can just brought back 2 lands. But if I don't, then I will just play a Triome tapped. Okay, turn 1 Saga is likely Titan, which is going to be an interesting matchup. We have the rest of the subtleties on the board. Okay, it's not Titan. It's Affinity. And I'm supposed to force the Springleaf Drum, because by forcing the Springleaf Drum, I stop my opponent from being able to make any Saga tokens with this Saga. And I drew the fetch land. I don't have any cards left, but I actually do have these 2 Triomes to cycle, which is kind of cool. I'm just going to actually do this main phase to play around, like, Metallic Rebuke. I guess they can't really have Metallic Rebuke right now, but whatever, let's do it now. I've already cracked 1 fetch, I have to do it now. Weird start. Could be Breach? Yeah, could be Breach. Could be Breach. I will say that usually Urza Saga Springleaf Drum, you want to force that Springleaf Drum if you have a force. But this always feels like, a very powerful thing to be doing. Okay, yeah, Flooded Strand does kind of signify Breach. Another land, obviously not ideal. I'm going to get my Prairie stream and then cycle... I guess I'll cycle the Raugrin Triome. Indatha is a bit better at getting me like 2 types per domain. And I think drawing Binding, I am just going to go ahead and get 2 types of domain, Crack another fetch here. Pass back. Obviously, lots of, you know, very good top decks at this point. We'll see what happens. Think there's any way to make the new Brothers War spoiler lay down arms work in blue-white control and Pioneer? Maybe. I think the mana gets kind of interesting. Something you could try to do is play like mostly white triomes and try to both support Leyline Binding and lay down arms, and your mana is going to have a lot of tap land. It's going to be kind of slow, but I do think that there is, like, you can, I think you can make it work potentially, but then, like, it's going to come at the cost of some consistency, and it's going to come at the cost of a lot of tap lands too. I'm going to just play the Hallowed Fountain tapped. You can save the Arid Mesa for Idyllic Grange here. Just need to draw some action. Error on the link. Oh, I don't think yeah, it looks like there is a error on the link. Classic Stream Decker. We are going to, I suppose, try to get that. I'll give it a couple of minutes, and then if it's still not working, I'll put in Goldfish. Why don't play 3 colors? It's free in this deck with binding. We were playing a 3-color version last night. You could still play a 3rd color. You could splash a 3rd color. I'd love to hear the exact changes you would want to make, but in a deck with that is, you know, playing pitch elementals, you know, just playing a 3rd color reduces your number of pitch cards, or playing 4 Force, 4 Solitude. But yeah, as always, I'd love to hear how you would build a deck instead of a 3rd color in Magic. We have 4 bindings in the deck. Is Renegade Rallier not impactful enough to, like, the problem with Renegade Rallier is it only ever just returns a fetch land. You have 2 Wall of Omens, but Rallier I just don't think is a powerful enough card unless you have more like 1 and 2 mana things to reanimate. Yeah, we were playing 4 Force of Negation. A card that I'm, like, pretty high on these days. You know, not a 4 of in every deck, but I think in a deck like this that can't really support Counterspell, it's tapping out a lot, it has a ton of card advantage. It's a card I like. Maybe Esper Scam, play more removal. Well, so when you say Esper Scam, if we're playing Grief, you have to play, like, what? Like 15 black cards for Grief minimum. That's an incredible big change to the deck. If you're wanting to play Esper just for more removal, white has the best removal in Modern. You don't need to splash black for removal. You have your Solitude, Leyline Binding deck that you could also play Prismatic Ending. Alright, come on. Solitude, Mulldrifter, Aether Channeler. Why is deck tell Scam? Scam as a deck defining term has kind of lost all meaning, which is part of the joke for today, but I also didn't really know what to call this deck. But Scam loosely refers to evoking incarnations and cheating them to play with like 8 spells, which is what we're doing with Brought Back and Ephemerate and the Mulldrifters. Okay. Let's go to game 2. Pretty bad flood. We are down a game against Breach. Temporary Lockdown seems fine against them. I don't like that it misses Emery. It hits, you know, everything else. I'll play at least the first 2 copies, probably 3. I'm going to be cutting the Subtlety. I like the Force of Negations a lot. I think that we could afford to play the Wispmares against the Saga deck. Kodal, 25 months, thank you. Hard to cut. I don't want to cut the Wall of Omens against the Ragavan deck either. Kind of like just have too much good stuff, honestly. I think maybe I'll cut the Aether Channelers. Not that they're bad at all here, but I just feel like our other cards are better. We're definitely light on win conditions like this. But I feel like we'll be able to like still win the game in the late game, which is like Emeria, Mulldrifter, Emeria, Solitude. The Sanctifier makes it hard to go off. Not by much. Not by enough, I think. Cut Teferi. I think we could cut 1 and play like 1 Channeler. Maybe 1 Channeler is still nice. But Teferi's good against them, especially on the play. Mulldrifter, Lull, Divination, Modern Law. Dude, Mulldrifter is a freaking... is like literally the best card of the deck. It is like insanely good with Ephemerate brought back in Emeria. Yeah, I just don't have enough instants and sorceries for Snapcaster. I mean, I don't know. You could play one. You could definitely play one. Would Rest in Peace be better in the deck for Sanctifier? So the problem is turning off your brought-backs and your Emerias. If you want to play Rest in Peace instead. I don't think turning off brought-back is as big a deal, but it's I do think if you don't have Emeria, you are like light on win conditions, so I don't think you want to play Rest in Peace. I think I just played Tap to Prairie Stream here, pass. No need to worry about Blood Moon out of them. Soulscast, 21 months, thank you. Sanctifier is also like incredibly good against Scam, and I think that's maybe something that's like quietly underappreciated in Modern right now, is a card being very good against Scam. Did I paint the wall orange? It was like this when we bought the house. I kind of want to change the color one day, but it's obviously tough to find room for stuff like that in the schedule. Souls, again, thank you for the 21 months. Think the mana base can support counterspells to the Force? No, not really. You just have so many planes, and you're tapping out on your turn a lot. You know, your deck that's playing tons and tons of sorcery speed spells, and also tons and tons of card advantage. It's also true, like, Force is very good against creativity, and creativity is one of the most popular, if not, like, the most popular decks. Okay, they can Metallic Rebuke if they have Rebuke here. We're going to cast Wispmare. Yeah, I don't mind the orange. Esther doesn't like it very much, but I don't mind it. Were the bulk rares well received? Yeah, so last night, it was crazy. So Esther decorated the house really well for Halloween. She got, like, all this, like, spider stuff and fences and, like, glowing decorations. She was so hyped. She's always wanted to, like, have her go all out for Halloween. And, we had, like, at least 200 kids, probably close to 300 kids show up for Halloween last night. It was crazy. I had to go leave and buy more candy because we had a ton and it wasn't enough. I had to go leave and buy more, and it took me like 25 minutes to get just exit the neighborhood, go to like the pharmacy that's right outside the neighborhood, and then drive back in, which is, you know, would normally be a 5-minute trip, was like 25 minutes because it was just so packed. And eventually we're just giving them bulk rares from Magic. Ooh, the legendary Value Breach. So this is going to be 1, then +1 card in the yard. 2. I think this is going to be just 2 cards, right? 1, 2. No, 3 cards. I don't think I'm supposed to force that. Obviously 3 cards is very good, but their graveyard is going to be empty. Kind of out, and I want to maybe draw my Ephemerate the Mulldrifter. Yeah, it was really nice to meet you too, Vanessa. Yeah, I wish we had taken a picture. Nick just as Raveler, no. Yeah, but all the kids thought the Magic cards were Pokemon cards.
Yeah. And while I was holding the fort down, I was literally clearing out my pantry, giving away like popcorn bags as well as mac and cheese and ramen. I was like, here, package. And it got to the point where right before I ever came, I was giving out just a stick of gum.
1 stick of gum.
1 stick of gum, poor kids. We're coming to this house and they only gave out a stick of gum.
I could, so Simon said I could lose if they have another Mox Amber, but they need to have, like, I don't think that's true, right? At least not right now. They need to find a grinding station. Maybe they find a grinding station. When does the big Magic tournament happen already? The Magic 30 happened. It was, you know, more of like a convention really than a big Magic tournament, but it did happen. So they're floating a red mana. So then they can cast Mox Amber, and then if they cast Grinding Station, we can force the Grinding Station. They're just gonna cast a Bobble again. Shrimply Bibs, take it to 40 for the tier 1. Appreciate you. So I think they're going to need to draw 4 cards, which is very good, obviously. We got a Wispmare holding down the fort. Career Magic through the 10 months. Why did they float red mana? Yeah, I'm not sure. Kind of seemed like they were thinking about doing something else. Alright, we really, really want to draw Ephemerate. Alright, pretty rough Flood games 1 and 2 so far, sadly. Which is always a nightmare. First 2 matches, Mana Flood. Should bleed Pibs in tier 1 and then Career Magic with a 10. Thank you, thank you. Yeah, both players 6 cards in hand. Yeah, we clearly need to drop the lands, huh? I'm not gonna crack my Flooded Strand, so if I draw brought back, I'm, you know, ramping up a bit. We have some good draws. I have some bad draws in the deck too. For 14 months, Del. Thank you for the resub. The old post-combat Unholy Heat, so that you don't have to attack with Ragavan. Then the deck, it's just way better to keep brought back as a live draw. Like all of a sudden, if I draw brought back, the Emeria is online. Yeah, there we go. Do you think I need to keep up the Force of Negation too? But if I can resolve this brought back, then I can play Emeria and I just have Emeria online. What did I play at the event? I played Blue-White Control at the event. We talked about my list a little bit yesterday. It was actually like pretty different from like the last time I played in the Stream Deck. I didn't realize how different. But I would play it again. Okay, Blue, then Saga, then Emery. Zax, 23 months. Appreciate you. Yeah, brought back as an instant. Did I play the Red and 6 version? I didn't, because I feel like the Red and 6 version is so much worse against Blood Moon. I'm a little less interested in playing that variant. Also, 5 out of my 8 opponents cast a Blood Moon against me, so I was pretty happy with that decision. Or at least, like, you know, it felt like my rationale was justified, I guess. Okay, I'm gonna get the Raugrin Triome so that a binding is 1 mana, but not sure exactly how relevant that is, I guess. Okay, so Emeria is going to be online. I drew another land, which really sucks. That being said, we're not dead right now. We're going to go down to 8. Take 4, probably. 5, maybe. And then we get to return. It probably just has to be Mulldrifter. What was my record over the weekend? I started off 6-0, and then I lost my last 2 rounds to barely not qualify. Did I see the new cycle from Bro that cares about land types? If so, my thoughts. I don't think I saw that one, no. Not Wispmare to kill land and prevent fetch. I mean, I'll have 9 mana next turn. I need stuff to do with my 9 mana. If I Wispmare and I just draw something that's not super impactful, the game ends, and I'm, you know, I need to find like Solitude Ephemerate or something. Oh yeah, the cycle lay down arms. Yeah, I at least I saw the lay down arms. I might need to force this. 5, 6, 7. I don't actually need to force that. I could go to 1. Block here, or sorry, 5, 6, 7. Go to 1. What else are we forcing? Underworld Breach. I played 25 lands. You probably want to be able to fetch, though. I don't know. I mean, I could just play this Plains as a land. I have Solitudes in the deck. I can gain life. Gonna have a good Mulldrifter, though. I totally forgot we had that card in our deck. Let's go. Wow, and Ephemerate. They didn't even float a mana to make a token. Wow, I totally forgot we had that card. Maybe we're supposed to evoke the Mulldrifter. So I don't know. I feel like the wall is kind of nice. I'm at 1 life. Incoming Pirate Spellbomb. Really close to building a working Storm deck in Modern. Can I take a look? I do deck decks for $10. Or 5 gifted subs, or 2 gifted subs, or channel points. But yeah, I feel like I just have to save this Force for Underworld Breach. Could be wrong. Helk, thank you for the Twitch Prime. Appreciate you. Force of Negation might not be awful. Yeah, it might not be, but we're winning the card advantage game, if that makes sense. So I feel like I'm just wanting to not lose to the Oracle. I don't know if they play another Saga. I don't know if they've played. Oh, they already played Island this turn. Okay, so let's Ephemerate our Mulldrifter. If they kill in response, we just get to bring it back with Emeria. Okay. The Force. So is this a is Wispmare a May ability? Emeria is a May. Destroy target enchantment. So we will be not using. Well, we could brought back the lockdown. 30 point in doing that? Not really. Not really. So no to this. We have a few cards in our hand. Do you want just more and more cards in the hand? I mean, like, yes, but I think I'm gonna play a little slower. I mean, I'm gonna evoke the Mulldrifter, see what happens. It's fine for it to be in the yard for Emeria next turn. It's also fine for me to like brought it back next turn and like brought back Solitude potentially. I think we'll do that. Okay. They'd seen enough. Wow. Shout out to temporary lockdown, huh? Evoke Solitude, bring back with Emeria. This also trigger. The Emeria goes on the stack like at the beginning of your upkeep, so you have to target something immediately, so you don't have a window to do that. I also didn't even have Solitude in my hand, but that's, you know, also the case. Okay. Sui, 6 months, thank you. I have to mulligan this. It's a close hand. It's much better 6s out there, and this is one of them. So we can put back the Prairie stream. Play the Raugrin tapped. Or yeah, remember, yeah, chat's like fetch to thin and not fetching to thin. Got the Emeria online. Just learning sequencing with the deck, right? Okay. Saga's not too bad. We can Solitude Ephemerate the tokens if that's the plan they're on. Although Aether Spellbomb is not the best for that plan, I guess. My Crazy or Calamity's Wake seem like a really good sideboard card because it's flexible. I just don't really have any of the new cards memorized yet, so Assuming that's a new card, if you could post what that does, we could talk about it. But always takes me a while to remember the name of stuff. Okay. So I kind of like the idea of playing Temporary Lockdown next turn. Exiles all your silenced on creatures. Yeah, it seems like a fine sideboard card. I think that it is. I think it's fine. I'm just gonna play a Channeler, draw a card, and then I can go like Lockdown, hold up Ephemerate for the Channeler next turn. Yeah, that card's fine. Nice to draw Force of Negation. Hopefully, don't get comboed. But wow, Unholy Heat the Channeler, not making a token. Weird. I don't know if that's just because they needed cards in the yard. Yeah, I think Wake is worse than Hallowed Moonlight, but it's definitely like the kind of sideboard card you just need to remember that it exists, you know. Lucy, I have Lucy and Athena here this morning. Lucy and Athena. Okay, if they don't crack either bauble here, it's very sus that they have a Metallic Rebuke or Counterspell. I might just have to run into it, though. Oh, well. I feel like they're supposed to crack target themselves first. Okay, they definitely don't have one, though. Yeah, I don't know. People... maybe I need to, like, write an article about bauble. It's been a few years since someone's put one out, I think. Could be a tricky card to play. If this is scammed and this running Shadow Dot making a Ponza deck, yeah. I mean, I mostly called this deck scam because I didn't know what to call this, like, blue-white Emeria. This is, like, very different from, like, a traditional blue-white Emeria list. Call it blue-white Flicker. It's kind of boring. It does also, like, meet, like, the traditional definition of scam, though, which is, you know, 8+ elementals with Evoke and, like, 8+ ways to reanimate them. Like, this is even more of a scam deck than the Boros deck that I called scam the other week. I don't think I'm supposed to pitch Solitude here. I think I'm just too low on resources, and they didn't even have, like, a 1-mana counterspell last turn or anything. Chris, thank you for 15 months. Appreciate you. I'm actually gonna get Islet or Plane so that my Prairie stream will just enter untapped here. Okay, then let's play the Wall of Omens. Would rather do that than have to Solitude the Ragavan, and love to pick up a Force of Negation, feeling much safer now. Mox Amber, Grinding Station. Maybe we'll have picked up this force at just the exact perfect time. It looks like they're not going to go for the Underworld Breach here. Well, maybe they are. I guess there's the land for turn. Is Wall of Omens the best Wall of Omen? Oh, modern? Yeah, I would say there's probably not a lot of competition. Wow. Very good timing on the Force of Negation. So if they have a 1-mana counter magic, okay. No 1-mana counter magic. So I do. So my plan says Ragavan 2 mystery cards. I think this turn I just have to hardcast the Solitude, hold up Ephemerate. Yeah, we did win game 2. It was a crazy game. Stopped flooding super bad, drew a relevant spell. Okay, Ragavan 2 mystery cards. So I'm gonna get the Idyllic Grange, put a counter on the Solitude, then Ephemerate my wall. Okay, not a bad draw. Sorry for rhyming. Won't tap it again. That's your wall. You could make a great case for Wall of Roots being the best wall. Okay. So player Teferi, and I think I'm gonna bounce my wall. Fail to find off the Scalding Tarn. Not really sure what that's about. We failed to find relevant interaction. Temporary lockdown is not really relevant here, as they could just sack their grinding station to itself. News, 12 months. So if they have Underworld Breach, we're going to lose. They didn't have it last turn. And they just pack it in. That is a very good match to win. Very crazy match to win. Alright, we're up against a Kahira deck and keep this against what is likely blue-white control, which is a matchup I don't know how this is going to go. Probably okay, I don't know. I feel like I can usually maneuver around blue-white control well enough. I think in this game, when there's like, it's unlikely I'm going to want to play anything turn 2, I'll just not crack my fetch yet, so that if I draw a brought back, I can, brought back. Immediately punished. Immediately punished. That's fine, I'll just get plains. I can get Prairie Stream off the Mesa. I don't have my domain, but that's fine, I don't have a binding in my hand, we can get domain later maybe. Only 2 Wall of Omens in the deck. Punished again. So no Teferi that we have to force is nice. Just use Aether Channeler as our bait spell. I was just gonna draw a card there. Didn't want to play too much into Verdict. Yeah, I'm not super interested in jamming the Teferi into the open mana either. Content to just keep fast back. My opponent goes Deluge. I will force the Deluge. Getting to exile is kind of nice. Which they don't go for. Can a mod make a Decklist command for this link, please? Thank you. Thanks, Bado. Alright, let's just flash in a Solitude end of turn. Maybe we can go Teferi plus Force up next turn. Mostly just hoping to draw my Emeria, and then that's likely going to win this game. Sad our opponent doesn't play Baneslayer. Why Idyllic Grange? Our mana base is almost all plains and white fetches, so 1 copy of Idyllic Grange costs you very little. I actually blew like 2 opponents out last night where they were like, they had 2 damage on Holy Heat on Solitude, and I Idyllic Granged, and I was able to put a counter on Mulldrifter, trade for a Channeler. It was like, it's good. The first copy is good enough. You probably don't want to play 2, but the first copy is good enough. Here I'm gonna put a counter on my Solitude, and this is better than the basic plains. Was it the thing about letting this resolve? Maybe not. Wow, Solitude in response. So I was gonna bounce my wall. Now I'm definitely not gonna bounce the wall. So that I can. Oh, they're exiling the wall. Wow. Unexpected. Could just plus. It's kind of bad against the Hall activation. I guess I bounce my own Solitude here. So if they activate Hall, I can pitch and get rid of their Hall. Although I guess I can't get rid of that and binding their Solitude. I drew my Emeria though. That's like, you know, that's just game probably. If I played Lich Phoenix since the start. Not really. I wanted to play like just 2 Founding the Third Paths and so 2 See the Truths and 2 Mendings, and I just haven't gotten around to playtesting it. Just still kind of playing catch up from Vegas a little bit, but we'll find some time. I don't like not forcing this. This Mulldrifter is so insane, though. I think it's fine. Was Vegas as sketchy as they say? It's my second time going. I mean, I don't know if sketchy is the exact word I'd use to describe Las Vegas, but we had some moments, I guess. We went to a karaoke bar, and there was a couple in there ahead of us, and they were asking the nice lady, like, gonna binding my Teferi. They're asking the nice lady why they had to leave a credit card at the counter, and why, and like when girls would come to their room. So they thought it was like a strip club. So they were a little sketchy. So Emeria's not online right now. Guess I'll just play it as a tap land though. Is Stream Decker dead? Yes. I thought that we had added a command. Oh, sorry. Maybe not. Okay, so let's go Indatha Triome. Binding. Okay. Now I don't know what I want to... I think I just want to target their binding. Then I guess I don't have enough to evoke Mulldrifter and do something else. So maybe it's just target their Teferi so I can go evoke Mulldrifter, hold up Force of Negation. Yeah, the dogs are roughhousing. They love each other, don't worry. Why is it coming as a subscriber on the channel? I don't know. I guess it's just the privileges. Okay, we do have the link. Okay, it's working. They counter this, we don't mind. Oh, wow. We actually do mind this. I guess I'm forcing if they counter back, that's not that big a deal, but I want my cards, I want the Mulldrifter in the yard. We can draw a blue card for Subtlety, white card for Solitude. Yeah, it was really cute. A couple weeks ago, we had a friend over for D&D, and he brought his dog, who was, kind of territorial and, like, growling at Athena constantly, and Lucy was, like, trying to protect Athena. Congrats to top 8. I didn't top 8. I went 6-0 and the 6-2. I will post the link that I played, the deck list I played in Vegas to the Stream Decker when Stream Decker's back up. There's been a lot of questions for it. But it was boring blue-eye control. And boring blue-eye control is pretty good right now. So I guess I could actually go Aether Channeler, bounce this binding, Legend Rule the Teferis. I kind of like that. We still have the Mulldrifter for next turn. Yeah, so this Legend rules the Teferis, and then we get to try to binding the Teferi again. We're also binding their binding. Let's do anything. I don't think it does anything. Alright, pass back. Did I play Hall of the Storm Giants? I played one Hall of the Storm Giants, one Otawara. Do I like Typhoon and Blue White? I wasn't playing it. I don't think it's good. I was playing 2 Hero, 2 Deluge, 2 Jace. I like Jace a lot right now. Please play my Vegas listen stream. I mean, I played blue-white recently. It was a bit different. I don't know. Blue-white streams are kind of boring. Every once in a while, I'll dust it off, but I get bored. Okay, it's gonna have to be fine. Am I gonna just brought back a Flooded Strand? Doesn't really let me do anything super special. Well, I'm kind of running out. I only have one fetchable left in the deck anyways, so. I mean, this deck is not boring. This deck is, I think, very exciting and fresh, but normal blue-white control is not exactly what I describe as fresh. Another Emeria is. Okay, so let's go. Just evoke another Mulldrifter. Somewhat likely to brought back. If I play Bangkok Paper, yeah, I've played at a couple RCQs. It's a deck I like. Yeah, maybe I just need to this turn go Channeler, Bird Token. Could just save this to Emeria next turn. Yeah, it is kind of weird that it's not a legendary land. Teferi seems like the natural payoff enabler. Ramp to 5 with brought back, attempts 2 lands, keep brought back up to protect itself. Yeah, I've thought about that a few times too. The problem is that you I could have maybe, I don't think I'm supposed to subtlety this. The problem with that plan is it's very hard to play like the other kind of more traditional controlling cards that Teferi's good with in the brought back shell. So I've had that draft a couple times. It's just like 12 fetches, and then brought back is just going to return like the Teferis, and I think that could be better than it sounds. Teferis and Solitude. That could be fine, but it'll be a pretty different build. I don't think it makes as much sense in this build specifically because you just don't have that much instant speed stuff to untap and have ready with Teferi. I'm gonna go ahead and Force of Negation this. Gotta start trading 1 for 1, and I want to be able to trade here and reanimate, just like not let them be able to attack or block with a Solitude, really. It's fine to force this as well. Really liking Force of Negation in this deck. Kahira into the hand, it's fine. So we get to reanimate a Mulldrifter again. Oh boy. Oh boy. Yeah, I really just don't mind if they verdict because I have 2 Emerias. Yeah, decking ourselves could be a concern. I think we'll be okay. So we have Kahira Mystery card. Oh, and the Deluge. Okay. We have 1 Force of Negation left in our deck. Exile the Deluge. Okay, I think I'm just gonna hold these Ephemerates. Brought back at the verdict. Yeah. I just don't think I need to do anything right now, really. I think I'm probably gonna bounce the Solitude with the Teferi on my turn. Turns off their man land. I mean, I guess, you know, I have the Ephemerates for that anyways. Maybe that's too telegraphed. I think it's fine. Ooh, we found the 4th forest. It's huge. Where's my Colonnade? Yeah, Colonnade's not a Plains. I'm also like, you know, the world's biggest Celestial Colonnade hater. Alright, I think we just force this. Could definitely make a case for letting it go. Yeah, opponent's playing pretty fast, for sure. But the third path Raveler is super fun. It's definitely fun. I don't think it's good, though. Let's see, so they are going to be on the defensive Colonnade. Notably, Leyline Binding cannot... answer. Talk about this one? I don't think so. Hold on. I kind of don't want them to gain the life. I just have to Ephemerate though. Could brought back also, I guess. Wow, binding sucks. It's not even good against Colonnade. Steel Seraph. Okay, it's the white prototype card. Beginning of your own turn, choose Flying Legend to Lifelink. Target creature gains the ability to end of turn. For a 3-mana 3/3? Wasn't lethal if you bounce it instead? Oh, bounce the Channeler. No, this is non-land permanent, chat. You guys are off of it. Alright, just not rebound. This card seems really bad, Doom. I don't know what we're talking about here. 3-mana 3/3, Flying Vigilance, Lifelink. I don't know. I don't know if this is like a Pioneer card. I don't really think so either. This is the team with the Inkjitsu guy. That's awesome, Tyler. Keep me updated on your progress. Okay, so we're gonna binding this binding in response to keep our Teferi in play. 3/3 fire for 3 gives ability, indicates good stats. I don't know. Stats just don't mean anything anymore, I feel. Pretty good line, I think. I don't know. Okay. Got these Wall of Omens. Don't know if I need. I want the Dovin's Vetoes for sure. We go down at least one Solitude. Maybe go down to Binding also. I think 2 Subtleties is fine. I don't know if I want any more than 2. Wispmare. Well, first Wispmare seems okay. Don't want to over sideboard. I think our game 1's pretty good. Wispmare is probably too cute. Maybe. There's a lot of enchantments right now though. Like I kind of want this against any Blood Moon deck, any Saga deck. Seems fine. Yeah, the 1/3 flyer was pretty relevant stat against Breach earlier too. Platoon Dispenser. Beginning of your end step, if you control 2 or more creatures other than this one, draw a card for 5. Unearth. It's a good limited card. Insane limited card. Probably not a constructed card, we'll see, maybe. Oh yeah, Wispmare, yeah, they're probably gonna bring in Rest in Peace, so the Wispmares maybe even get better. Yeah, maybe I'm on just 2 Solitudes, 2 Wispmares. Let's try this. Do you think Patrician Scorn is good enough with Solitude and Ephemerate as anti-enchantment hate? You don't want to play Patrician Scorn in a deck playing Leyline Binding. How lost in the sauce would it be to add a single sack outlet so you can keep looping stuff with Emeria? Way too lost in the sauce. Like, Emeria comes on in like the super late game and is like, it just takes so long to come online. You don't want, it's too much, way too much. You're also blue-white, so you say a single sack outlet. Your options for sack outlets in blue-white are somewhat limited. Well, Marvin, how you doing? As Mistfield Plains received any consideration? We don't really have enough white permanents. We have more blue creatures than white by a lot, so I don't think that is one we can really support. I think I should tell up the old Force of Negation here. I might force an Archmage's turn. My opponent seems like they're maybe stumbling on mana. They have no white sources yet. And I have Leyline Binding stance are permanent, so I'm not like too worried about them untapping and slamming something either. Brought back Blasting Station. Let's go. Yeah. Had the right read on the mana, it seems. And now, I guess it's a good as time as any to slam it to Teferi. Right, that's fine. Happy enough to put Teferi back on top. Yeah, I like the new Titania a lot. I'm pretty likely to try that card out. Yeah, Stream Decker's not down, but there is a Goldfish link that links to the deck list here. Stream Decker do be down. Okay, we're gonna play the Channeler here instead of the Teferi. They result pretty fast. They might be on Solitude here, so let me keep up Leyline Binding plus Ephemerate. It does kind of feel like I finally, after so long, found another deck that I like to play, brought back in after that first 5-0 with the Boros deck, like pre-MH2. I think my popularity overwhelms Stream Decker. I don't think that's what's happening. Put on 3 cards. Likely a lot of them spells. Could trade here. I think with the Ephemerate rebound though, it's like not quite right time to trade. Good play, good play. I feel like just playing Emeria tapped Solituding this turn. I know I don't have Binding up, but I don't necessarily need it either, I guess. Alright, let's resolve our Solitude now. Yeah, Moonlight is a very good card. Thought on Light and Shadow or Batterskull recurring Solitude and Pitchables was nice in Scamblade. Light and Shadow is a really, really weak card. It's an incredibly weak card. On turn 3, you're gonna put it on a Fervent Champion, it's gonna do nothing most of the time. It's not a card I would want to play in most modern decks. Wow, just Solitude again. You know, I have no creatures in my yard. They've all been exiled so far. I guess only 2, but my Emeria's not doing anything yet. Need to find a Mulldrifter, I guess. Looks like they've got a counter spell up. Alright, I'm gonna jam the Teferi. Awesome. Obviously love to see this resolve. Just draw a card. I think I'm just gonna let the Teferi get hit and then use my brought back to try to bring it back. Just need a Mulldrifter creature. Okay. It's kind of bad. So now if I'm cracking my fetch, I'm losing my... I'm dying to haul next turn. Oh wait, they both went at Teferi. Okay, that's great. That's great. I guess I could have Binding the Solitude. I just don't really care if they gain the life, I guess. I need to draw a creature. No such luck. Yeah, I mean, Binding not being hitting these manlands is tough. Maybe I'm going down to 2 Bindings so I can go up to 3 Solitudes for game 3. Alright, let's Binding the Solitude now. If I go down 2 Bindings, you can go down on less Bindings in sideboard games, chat. You can't go down on Bindings in game 1. All right. Really hope that they jam Planeswalker here. Maybe Deluge or something. Yeah, but I'm at that juicy 14 life, huh? Yeah, you can't play Seed of Aganja though. It's just not a Plains. If Solitude exists, would Cavalier of Dawn be playable to place, or is a lack of a non-starter? Cavalier of Dawn's a pretty weak card. I don't think that would be close to modern playable. No. Oh, can't veto a veto. Okay. It's very clear that I just drew this for turn, so I'll just save some time with the concession there. Maybe they don't come to that conclusion, but seems fine. Jet, 2 months, thank you. Alright, we can click submit. Seems fine. I watched it at work when my coworker walked by, looked by, and said, "Oh, he looks so stressed out." Yeah, that's a blue-white mirror matchup. Awesome, Jet. Hope you feel better. Does Rakdos stand a chance at a meta with Solitude Ephemerate? Rakdos is one of the best decks in the format. Yeah. But try to make Wandering Emperor work for brought back. For lack of phrase, she's pretty good at killing herself. Yeah, that's true. I think the Wandering Emperor is like an incredibly overrated card. She is like, it is cool that because like it is cool that since like you can go end of turn Wandering Emperor, you are going to be able to brought her back a lot. But I think Wandering Emperor is very overrated and not a card I like to register very often. Same cost, same effect, but not close to modern playable. Yeah, like I don't know. It's just like Solitude is only playable because of this evoke ability. And Cavalier of Dawn is, like, if you don't want to play Solitude in your deck, you're going to be playing Leyline Bindings, Prismatic Index, March of Otherworldly Light. You're going to be playing cheap removal because you can't afford 5 mana 2-for-1s in Modern. It's just not something playable. You know, it's just like how for the longest time people I've turned 2 double brought back on the play. It's like what's that mill card, you surveil 2, then you get to flashback a spell. It's like a lot worse than Snapcaster because a 2/1 body is much better than surveil 2 because that's like worth a card and the 2/1 body is not worth a card. And it's like this is like a really classic modern lesson to learn when you're looking for like budget replacements and you're looking for upgrades to decks and stuff. You're not wanting to play cards that are similar to other cards that are better. You're just looking to play other more powerful cards that are like less expensive, right? Like it's not a good idea to just get like a much powered down version of a card that's modern playable. It's better to just get another card that's good in your deck. GMAC 15 months, appreciate you. It's like, Golgari Grave Troll says Dredge 6 on it. It's nuts. It's much better than Dredge 4. Alright, go to Prairie Stream. Cast turn 3 Teferi with Dovin's Veto up. What if this young PZ can glue together some kind of Grixis Anvil list in Pioneer Modern? It's a pretty interesting application for it. I'm super excited for that card. I'm super excited for that card, though. Nice counterspell. Nice counterspell. The card's viable milk is an instruct jump. Yeah, that's, But like a lot of people are used to play that card as like a budget Snapcaster, Oh, nice subtlety, huh? But people used to try to play that card as a budget Snapcaster, and it's like, just play like Fact or Fiction, play a card that's like reasonable. Guess I should be playing around Dispute. We could have cast Cavalier of Dawn or something, yeah? Great point. Guess I could get my island here. I get to 5 answer 5. I brought back 2 fetch lands on turn 2. And we're flooding a little bit again. There's an Emeria. Again, no creatures. I have 2 more planes in my hand, though. Just kind of classic. Can I please draw a creature? Although this time they're on 3 cards in hand, 4 mana. They don't have the Hall of the Storm Giants. Seemed like they were thinking about playing something. And now I'm glad I drew this Subtlety after they were thinking about playing something. Drew a spell. Can even Idyllic Grange it next turn. Back to Fictions and Modern. Yeah, I think it got printed in with MH1, if I remember correctly. Is it good to just run out the Subtlety? I don't think so. I think I'm just going to chill. I'm going to wait on the Grange as well. My Kingdom for a freaking Mulldrifter. Solitude's really nice draw, though. I think I'm going to play the Grange now so that I can Solitude with Subtlety up for a possible Solitude on their end of turn. Is why I generally have Emperor. Emperor's, I think Emperor has been overrated like the entire time it's been a Modern. But yes, they're off of it. I think Emperor was okay when Murktide was like the most popular deck, but Murktide was already like Blue-White's best matchup or one of the better matchups, and it was better when it was a new card and nobody knew how to play around it. I think that it definitely shined a bit more back then. But it has definitely not been a card I've been particularly impressed by for a while now. Yeah, I don't mind running the Solitude into like Celestial Colony blocks because I just have the Emeria to recur it. This is dangerously close to look like an Elder Deep Fiend deck. Oh no. Don't tempt me. Okay. I guess I could have cycled looking for Dovin's Veto. But I'm just kind of okay with this Stress Down resolving. Where, if they're going to block, that's fine. And if they don't block, that's also fine. Yeah, I'm just okay with this Stress Down. Like, yeah, this is fine. What about Subtlety? Subtlety is the worst incarnation, but still an incarnation. And is particularly good against decks like Titan and Tron. And hard to play around too. Okay, now I'll look for my second Veto. I only have 1 more in the deck, but... Ugh, 1 mana short. Brutal. I mean, I'm thrilled if I'm trading Solitudes here. Seems like that's not the case, unfortunately. They have 3 cards in their hand. It's a pretty good pickup, though. First things first. Make him have the Solitude. It's got Binding, maybe? Oh, they do have the nuts. Okay. I was expecting them to have the nuts after pausing for so long. Because I'm definitely casting the Channeler. Am I supposed to bounce the Teferi so that I can... No, I'm just gonna draw a card. Just gonna draw a card. I'm kind of looking for a Mulldrifter, but I'm also just gonna slam the Subtlety. If I miss. Don't get the rebound because of the Teferi. Thoughts of Pure Modern? It's not really a format I'm super interested in. I hope that people who are interested in it enjoy it, but it's not for me. Ooh. That was a really well-timed time Raveler, huh? What about reprinted Diabolic Attendant? Is it much better than Profane Tutor? I'm not very high on that card. It seems to have a lot of hype around it at the moment, but I'm not incredibly psyched for it, I guess. Okay. We're also in 4 minutes, 40 seconds. You know, we'll see what happens. Sadly, I just never, ever drawn a Mulldrifter this game. I'm going to attack the Time Raveler first, see if they want to make a trade. They have more exile-based removal, good beats. Okay. Wish I had another white card so I could, you know, evoke, but let's just go brought back. Damn it. Is this, can I say no at this point? I don't think so. Alright. Intin seems really good in a creature heavy shell. I don't know. I think people are, I think it's incredibly overrated. It is a somewhat playable card, but I think people are really overrating the card. And by people, I mean Doomwake. What spoiler card am I most excited for? Probably the card that melds with Mishra, but not like to meld it with Mishra. Ugh. Alright. I yield 1-1. Yeah, Dragon Engine. Let's keep this on the play. Pure Modern is a tournament Doomwake is running, so it's Modern with no Modern Horizon sets. Same ban list. I don't know. It's some people are into it. It's not really for me. Joy Monger, thank you for the 11 months. Appreciate you. I think with 3 fetch lands, I can get a Triumph on turn 1 to be able to Binding on turn 2, but you know, I would, if I, assuming I don't need to Binding on turn 2, I'll hold another fetch land to play it into brought back. Yeah, it's just for people who don't like the incarnations, really. 0 mana spells, TM. Do you feel like Spell Pierce is a viable budget for Flusterstorm? Yeah, sure. Could play with more vetoes too. Uh-oh. Okay, we can Binding the Expedition map. Tron's probably not a very good matchup though. Especially with this hand. Yeah, I agree. I'm a big fan of Modern Horizons too. Obviously, not everybody shares that opinion, and that's fine. I like Modern Horizons a lot. Yeah, maybe it's Eldrazi Tron. I think I played against Eldrazi Tron with this deck last night. I think I lost. Can't remember. Not Eldrazi Tron. Yeah, deep in Reddit discussion. A fate worse than death. We do have, you know, 4 Force of Negation, 4 Subtlety. Dovin's Veto's not too bad. Probably more is how much the format revolves around it. I don't know. It's okay to have the take. It's okay to have the take. It's a very common take to have. There's obviously some truth to it. That being said, like, Modern was just a very, in my opinion, unstable place before the release of Modern Horizons 2, where for, like, okay, they do find Tron, unfortunately, for, like, you know, 6 or 7 years, there was just, like, so I'm supposed to bounce this Binding back to my hand. I'm just gonna draw a card. For, like, 6 or 7 years, like, there would just be busted cards from standard sets that completely destroy the Modern format for months until there's a banning. Or it started with the banning of Splinter Twin. Right after that, you had all of the cheap Eldrazi be printed, and you have Eldrazi Winter. And like ever since Eldrazi Winter, it feels like there's just like a cycle of busted decks that take over the format for a period until there's a banning. And that's, you know, that went on for years, and to me, it really feels like Modern Horizons 2 stabilized the format. And obviously it's not ideal that the format had to be stabilized in this way. Obviously, it would be way more ideal if everything was just good forever, but that was definitely not my experience in Modern for the longest time. But also, we don't have to have this exact same conversation every single day, huh? Yes, I miss when Modern was cheap and inexpensive before MH2. With my $200 Tarmogoyfs. I think that most Modern players look at Modern's past through like one, and there's one specific era. There's one specific era in like most Modern players' past that they are really specifically nostalgic for. And this era is, you know, whenever their pet deck was viable, usually. And that's fine. Obviously, everybody likes to win. Everybody likes, you know, for their deck to be well positioned. But, you know, it's just like Modern had really been in a very unstable place for a long, long time. And I think that this Modern Horizons 2 was really what it needed to stabilize, and I think they did a good job with it. So you're saying is it went downhill when they banned Splinter Twin? It was more the printing of like Thought.co Reality Smasher Battery Shaper, but yes. That is what I'm saying. Boseiju kills Binding. That's true. So I guess I should Binding the Ugad now. They didn't fetch Boseiju, which probably means they have it in their hand. But at the very least, they can't Boseiju in response to like reset the loyalty. Don't you miss Uro? Oh, my baby, precious Uro. No. It's also true Modern Horizons like really reduced the price of fetch lands at least. Not that that's, you know, the only thing that matters or anything, but it is something. But it's also, I don't know, it's just like this is the most boring conversation to have. It has merits obviously, but the conversation of Modern Horizon cards are too expensive. Yes, yes, that is the whole conversation. Yes, they should be cheaper. They should be more available. I'm on board. But there's really just like not much to be said with this combo. Okay, we're gonna cut the walls. I think I'm gonna play like no more than like 1 or 2 Solitudes. Probably 2. Cut the 4th. I guess Teferi's not that good. We could play Flusterstorm. Flusterstorm stopping Stirring Scryings early is pretty good. Teferi's kind of mediocre. Let's trade this. Close hand, have to mulligan. Keep this one. So I'm putting back second Channeler. But it's also, you know, it's important to remember this rule we have in the chat that I seem to ignore too often, but my chat box is not your Magic complaint forum. There are plenty of places to complain about stuff on the internet, and for me at least, I get pretty drained by it, so yeah, go to twitch.tv/Doomwake, go to reddit.com to say the same 5 points about Modern Horizons every single day. Stream Deck appears to be working again. Okay. So we get this one in there, and then I'll try to get the blue-white control list as well. Go Channeler. Love to draw blue card here. No blue card. Brought back's kind of an interesting pickup though. Alright, let's force this. Could obviously get punished for it, but it kind of feels like they don't have Tron, so. And, yeah, seems like my feeling was right or whatever. Don't even have another land. Let's go to Ephemerate this right now, draw a card. Okay, then save the fetch lands for brought back next turn, I guess. No, I'm gonna get the blue-white control list for you, blue-white control nerds. So what I played in Vegas, I started off 6-0, finished 6-2, have 2 Legends packs sitting downstairs thanks to the deck. Look, we might get punished for tapping out of Dovin's Veto. But we came here today to brought back some Mulldrifters, you know what I mean? And this is why we have Force of Negations in the deck. This is why we have Force of Negations in the deck. This has felt so powerful so far, this line. Oh, whoops, I set it as current on accident, the blue whitelist. Okay, I'll let Stirrings resolve. And they find Tron. I think we're supposed to let Stirrings resolve, though. We do have a lot of interaction here. Let's just start off and evoke Mulldrifter. We have Emeria to bring it back in a couple turns. Could also end up drawing Ephemerate, though, or brought back. Binding is interesting. So I have 5 planes, 6 planes. I think we can play the Emeria this turn. What if they get rid of my Emeria ever? They do get rid of the Emeria. Well, maybe I wasn't supposed to play it out here. They get another Ulamog. So I guess I'm supposed to binding this one. And then maybe I can draw... I guess I only have one Teferi in the deck. I could be 2 Ulamogs. Your blue-white control with or without Red and 6. So I think the versions with Red and 6 are more powerful. The versions without Red and 6 are better against Blood Moon. Obviously, like, you know, you could still be Blood Moon with the version with Red and 6, but that's the main differences. And I definitely value right now being better against Blood Moon because Blood Moon is just like very, very common. But awesome to have a Ephemerate here. I should answer this, I think. Because they're choked on green mana. So I can use Force of Negation on this, and then I can Solitude this next turn with Dovin's Veto up, which is maybe not ideal, but... If no green mana, I'm kind of worried about Besagio on the binding. Don't need to do anything right now. If I had Flooded Strand from Grange, you could cast Veto plus Solitude. They just cast the map post-combat. Second main phase. Really hoping our Veto stops whatever they have this turn, which is pretty likely to. Is Solitude first main phase? Was that bad? What's the point of doing that? Alright, let's let this one go. You get basic forest. Don't veil me, please. I can't emotionally take it. Alright, emotionally destroyed. They had 2 Terra Sunders in their hand?